Hello and welcome you watching the Saturday edition of This Is Exclusive with me, Shavinson. Ladies and gentlemen, Hezbollah's chief has been eliminated by the precision strikes that have been carried out by the Israeli Defense Forces. In the last 48 hours, several targets of the Hezbollah has been eliminated, with Israel saying that they have a limited objective, and the objective is to ensure that Hezbollah cannot perhaps carry on with the attacks that they have been since 7th of October supporting the Hamas. Following the same very prototype that they had developed of neutralizing the Hamas leadership, the same playbook has been applied as far as Hezbollah is concerned. Now, with the elimination of the Hezbollah chief, is there an end game? Tonight on This Is Exclusive, we first go to our reporter in Beirut to get you a sense of what's really happening on the ground. Lebanon is literally pleading Israel to stop the strikes. Let's take a look at the headline tracking at this hour.
Presented by Royal Global University, Northeast can't wait. Pado kuch bano.
And eliminated whether it's near or far. Just as we were prepared for this precise attack, we were prepared for many other scenarios.
Hezbollah chief eliminated. IDF makes a claim, as well as Hezbollah makes a statement following the death of Hassan Nasrallah. Iran's Supreme Leader Ali Khamenei backs Hezbollah. Now, Iraq also comes out in full support. Iran Revolutionary Guard's Deputy Commander Abbas Nifroshan also killed in the attack.
Presented by Royal Global University, Northeast can't wait. Pado kuch bano.
For 3 decades put together, Hassan Nasrallah was leading the Hezbollah. In fact, their only single point agenda, the charter of Hezbollah, has been to destroy Israel. They say it's a colonial power. The fact that the Jews do not have a right to existence, that has largely been the reason why Hezbollah has existed all this while. Ladies and gentlemen, let's now take you through how exactly did the Hezbollah really rise, and who exactly is Hassan Nasrallah? Let's take you through those details. Hezbollah chief for 3 decades, I beg your pardon, started off as the Secretary General back in the year 1992. And since then, he has been there. Initiated the formation of Hezbollah in 1985, as I pointed out, with a single point agenda, the agenda to destroy Israel. He's also named US, Soviet Union as Islam's main enemies. Remember, he has criticized several policies of the United States of America, and also said that the fight is not just with Israel. The fight is also against United States of America. In 2006, that's when, under the leadership of Hassan Nasrallah, there was a 34-day conflict with Israel. And remember, that comes across as a setback for the Israelis too, because back in 2006, it all ended in a stalemate. And that is the reason why, for a very long time, questions were being raised whether at all Israel would be able to demolish the Hezbollah like they have in this case as far as Hamas is concerned. It is Hassan Nasrallah who built an alliance with Tehran against the West. So one of the reasons why there have been a vitriolic response really coming in from the Iranian leadership with regards to the United States of America. One of the driving force happens to be none other than this man. He's aided the Hamas for the Palestinian cause. Now, that is the cause that they believe in. In fact, his successor too, cousin of Hassan Nasrallah, also believes in the Palestinian cause. In fact, remember, it is he who said that he will do everything in his might to ensure that Hamas is protected. That's the position that he has always taken. And on the attack that took place, the dastardly attack that took place on 7th of October, immediately after that, remember, Hassan Nasrallah has had elaborate meetings in Iran too. That is the reason why you've had Benjamin Netanyahu stating that there isn't a single missile of Israel that cannot reach the corners of Iran, sending across a message that you can no longer perhaps protect the Hezbollah. Now, that's exactly the context in which Israel has opened this new front. In a short while from now, we're going to take you through what's really happening on the streets of Beirut and why exactly is the Lebanese administration now pleading to the Israelis, asking them to stop the bombing that's actually taking place. Israel has sent out a message saying that they're not against the people of Lebanon, but it is time to end the rule of Hezbollah. That's the position that the Israelis have taken. We'll try and see if our reporter is ready on the ground. But before that, there is also breaking news now coming in. Let's take that. Israel has, in fact, issued a statement. Let's take you through the details of the statement saying we are not stopping here. In fact, this is a statement that has been issued by the spokesperson of the Israeli ambassador here in the national capital, Guy Nir, who's put out the statement. Let's listen.
A few hours ago, the Israeli Defense Force has confirmed the elimination of Hassan Nasrallah. Along with him were Ali Kalfi and many other Hezbollah high-ranked officials, people with lots of blood in their hands. This is not the last of the tools in the IDF's toolbox. Those who threaten Israeli civilians will be found and eliminated, whether it's near or far. Just as we were prepared for this precise attack, we were prepared for many other scenarios. A few hours ago, the Israeli Defense Force has confirmed the elimination of Hassan Nasrallah. Along with him were Ali Kalfi and many other Hezbollah high-ranked officials, people with lots of blood in their hands. This is not the last of the tools in the IDF's toolbox. Those who threaten Israeli civilians will be found and eliminated, whether it's near or far. Just as we were prepared for this precise attack, we were prepared for many other scenarios. A few hours ago, the Israeli Defense Force has confirmed the elimination of Hassan Nasrallah. Along with him were Ali Kalfi and many other Hezbollah high-ranked officials, people with lots of blood in their hands. This is not the last of the tools in the IDF's toolbox. Those who threaten Israeli civilians will be found and eliminated, whether it's near or far. Just as we were prepared for this precise attack, we were prepared for many other scenarios.
Well, in fact, let's now take you through what's really happening on the ground. Ali Hamosh, Republic reporter, joining us from the streets of Beirut. Ali, I'm hoping that you are safe, but first, give us a sense of what's really happening around you. In fact, the bombings still continue, the precision strikes that have gone on for the last few days. What's the sense? And also, if you can just perhaps move around your camera to just give us a sense of what's really happening around you.
I don't know if you can see better now clearly. We're seeing the Secretary General of Hezbollah, Hassan Nasrallah, was one of the most beloved leaders in the region, not only in Lebanon. And he meant a lot to a lot of people, not only to Islamic factions, but to anyone believing that Palestine's liberation is a just cause. So in that sense, we can see a general sense of mourning, of sadness. Many have said that they are not defeated, but it is a time for mourning and feeling for the passing of whom they consider a historical leader in the Arab world and in the current history, notably following the genocide occurring in Gaza and his vital role in attempting to alleviate the attacks of the people of Gaza.
Ali, just give us a sense of what is it that the Lebanese leadership is really looking forward to, because at this point in time, it's a catch-22 situation. We heard what the foreign minister had to say at the United Nations, once again pleading that the bombings should stop. How exactly is Lebanon really responding to the strikes that are taking place? Is there some sort of a talk that is likely to happen between the Lebanese administration with their counterparts in Israel?
Okay, so first of all, just to clarify something, in Lebanon, we have somewhat to understand the situation, two leaderships, in the sense that Hezbollah operates independently based on the needs and the necessities of what it considers the axis of resistance. This axis unifying the fronts between Yemen, Palestine, Gaza, of course, Lebanon, Syria, Iraq, and Iran is considered a vital part of the vital interest for Hezbollah, who seeks through the unity of that front to liberate Palestine, or at least to alleviate the suffering. Currently, the Hezbollah leadership is not willing to back down of its demand that Israel halts its genocide in Gaza and its continuous attacks on civilians. And subsequently, of course, now that Israel has started attacking Lebanon, it is requesting an immediate halt to attacks on Lebanese civilians, Lebanese land, and halting the attacks of Gaza. What Israel has tried at several points with Hezbollah is a negotiation tactic that forces them to retreat and stop alleviating the attacks off of Gaza without actually stopping the attacks on Gaza. Hezbollah's leadership has reiterated many times, and it is something that the Secretary General, the late Secretary General, has repeatedly described as impossible. There's a unity of fronts. If any attacks from Lebanon or on Lebanon should stop, they should also stop on Gaza. Now, the Lebanese political leadership, to which Hezbollah ascribes, because Hezbollah has one of the biggest and largest parliamentary blocs, has also stressed that a ceasefire is needed in Gaza in order to implement a ceasefire in Lebanon. The Lebanese Foreign Minister Abdullah Abu Habib 2 days ago in New York reiterated the need for a ceasefire, but simultaneously expressed his approach to the situation by saying that a ceasefire should be implemented in Gaza as well. So there's a sort of quasi-unity on this issue, as the Lebanese leadership understands that Hezbollah is unwilling to back down unless Israel backs down off of Gaza. And just to clarify a certain part of the Lebanese judicial system and our law system, there are no direct negotiations between the Lebanese and the Israelis. It is forbidden by the law, and it is considered a form of high treason. And as such, any negotiations occur through an American or a Qatari or an Egyptian mediator, at times all three, and sometimes even French, who have a historical presence in Lebanon. So we are still awaiting the changing the situation. The events are still unfolding. Nothing is clear, but what is clear and certain is that Hezbollah will not back down from its approach towards Gaza and towards the Lebanese front as it unites all both.
Ali, also in terms of what the Israelis have been saying, they say that advance notice was actually given to the people of Lebanon to immediately leave their premises so that the precision strikes can be carried out. Give us a sense of what's really happening on the ground of those who have been injured in the strikes that have been carried out, and whether at all the medical setup in Beirut is in a position to handle the number of casualties that have taken place so far.
Regarding the latest onslaught of attacks by Israel, they have claimed, as always, they have done that in Gaza as well, to have warned citizens to leave early on, but unfortunately that is not always true. Most of the time Israel carries out its attacks on neighborhoods that are populated, which had no prior warnings or very short notice warnings. We're talking seconds or minutes. Obviously not enough time to flee in a bombarded region. So the civilian toll is still under inspection. The Lebanese health system is under immense strain, notably after the pagers and walkie-talkie attack, an attack that has been deemed a terrorist act and a war crime by many international law experts and nations. This attack, which has carried its toll over the system, is now spilling over the current situation as Israel is attacking almost exclusively civilian regions, civilian areas, civilian houses, under the guise of targeting Hezbollah precision missiles or any type of ammunition. But to this point, no ammunition of the sort have been uncovered in the civilian areas or in the civilian buildings that Israel has targeted. Yesterday's strike in Har Tahrir, which assassinated the late Secretary General, was an attack that decimated 6 buildings to the ground. Health experts have talked about bodies being evaporated from this attack and over 100 injured. We cannot yet talk about the number of martyrs or victims because nothing is clear yet, given that, as I mentioned, the bodies have been evaporated. So the Lebanese health system, considered an elite system within the Arab region, is now under immense strain, but still it's ongoing and it's doing its best, notably as many private hospitals are doing their best and giving it their all in order to ensure that everybody is getting the medical follow-ups necessary.
Ali, the last big precision attack that took place was yesterday evening when Israel basically targeted the headquarters of Hezbollah. This was right at the heart of Beirut. Have there been any other strikes that have taken place so far? And also, if you could help us understand, in terms of the leadership of Hezbollah, how many have been eliminated by the Israelis?
Such attacks on Dahi region, which translates to the southern suburb of Beirut and is considered the heart of Hezbollah's presence in Beirut, have occurred too frequently at this point. They've attacked the headquarters yesterday and wiping out a large number of other civilian buildings with them. They've attacked a building the day before. And the day before, we can almost say that on a daily basis, Israel has attacked a civilian building or civilian area under the guise of targeting a Hezbollah leader. These leaders, to this point, if we start from the beginning of the confrontation between Hezbollah and the Israeli regime on the 8th of October, have surpassed, I believe, 25 or 26 leaders, considered some of the most elite leaders and their underlings. Unfortunately, Israel continues to carry some of its attacks in civilian areas under this false guise. Sometimes it doesn't even hit these leaders, but nevertheless claims it has finished the job. Many civilians have been targeted, have been killed by these attacks. Some are described as precision, despite the fact that yesterday's attack by many local experts have been deemed as anything but accurate attacks, given the large amount of destruction that has occurred and the large amount of lives lost.
Ali, one final question that I would like to take from you is with regards to who exactly now succeeds Hassan Nasrallah. Some reports suggest that his cousin, who is part of the political wing of Hezbollah, perhaps is tipped to be the next chief of Hezbollah. Anything that you can help us understand?
Certainly. Now, on the ground, we are talking about if we are talking about the second chain in command, it would be Sheikh Naim Qasim, who was the Vice Secretary General of Hezbollah and considered the right-hand man of Sayyid Hassan Nasrallah in political and strategic affairs and decision-making in general. Now, it remains to be seen if Sayyid Hashim Safiyuddin, as you mentioned, a cousin and a highly ranking official in Hezbollah, a clergyman also, will be the direct successor. Some speculate that there'll be an interim period where Sheikh Naim Qasim, the elder between the two and with the most expertise, will be the right successor, the instant successor to Sayyid Nasrallah, followed perhaps after a certain period of restructuring by Sayyid Hashim Safiyuddin receiving this mantle, the mantle of Secretary General of Hezbollah. Nothing is set in stone. Hezbollah has yet to release a statement when it comes to the political machinations and the reshuffling of the cards. Hezbollah is a highly organized structure, both on the political level and on the military level. Any decision that is taken very prudently after studying an immense number of facts. Lots of legal, political, and religious and military experts are present to make these decisions, and a vote will be cast. Once the vote is cast, the future of Hezbollah's leadership will be clearer. But right now, it is probable that Sheikh Naim Qasim will take the leadership mantle, and we await any further updates. Hezbollah has the strategy of always accurately updating its surroundings and its followers of any major decision it makes. So we await an official decision by Hezbollah.
Well, Ali, thank you very much for giving us a comprehensive report from Beirut. Ali would be reporting for Republic TV, getting us the latest as the war has now escalated. Ladies and gentlemen, let me also take you through some more details now coming in from the IDF. The Israeli Defense Forces have now put out details of a radio communication that has taken place. In fact, let's take you through the details, the images of the radio communication of the commanding officer of the Israeli Air Force, Major General Tomer Bar, and the commander of the 69th Squadron. Now, this is when the precision strike was carried out. Listen.
אתם הבאתם פה הצגת ניצחון, אני מקווה, ישר כוח. אנחנו מאוד מקווים שגדענו פה את ארגון הטרור הזה, ישר כוח, גאווה גדולה.
תודה רבה מחר. אנחנו נגיע לכל אחד, לכל מקום, ונעשה כל מה שנדרש כדי להחזיר את החטופים ותושבי הצפון הביתה.
עד הניצחון. אתם הבאתם פה הצגת ניצחון, אני מקווה, ישר כוח. אנחנו מאוד מקווים שגדענו פה את ארגון הטרור הזה, ישר כוח, גאווה גדולה.
תודה רבה מחר. אנחנו נגיע לכל אחד, לכל מקום, ונעשה כל מה שנדרש כדי להחזיר את החטופים ותושבי הצפון הביתה.
עד הניצחון, ישר כוח.
Well, that's all that we could pack in this edition of This Is Exclusive. Coming up on the other side, Get Me Right with my colleague Abhishek Kapoor.